Greetings and welcome to day 3 and part 3 of my birding and wildlife trip to Australia. I got up early this morning and walked 20 minutes or so to the Cairns cemetery. I could tell from looking at eBird that the cemetery should be a good location to see the rainbow bee eater. I want to talk a little bit about bird families. There's something like 250 bird families in the world currently, and I've seen a little over 100 of them birding in the Americas. Spending a couple weeks in Australia, I was expecting to find 20 or more families of birds. That would be new to me. Seeing a lifer, heron, or duck is cool, but seeing a bird from a whole different family, such as bee eaters, is extra cool to me. And indeed, I saw lots of rainbow bee eaters at the cemetery. They were hard to get super close to, but I definitely enjoyed this species. Here's a pair of rainbow bee eaters with the male on the left with the longer central tail feathers. I think this is probably a male as well. And this one too. And here's some video footage I got of one for a little bit. Another bird that's easy to see at the cemetery is the bush thickney or bush stone curlew. And thickneys are shorebirds, but they have a separate family, which was a new one for me on this trip. Other species here at the cemetery were these orange-footed megapodes, or orange-footed scrub fowl, they would call them in Australia. And they're a different family, the megapodes. These birds build big mounds of earth and dead leaves and stuff and incubate their eggs in the mound rather than with sitting on them with their body. All right, let's bring in some music here. Okay, so pretty soon, like this megapode, it was time to leave the scene and head to the Cairns CBD area. Here's a picture of the library there, which was near my rental car agency. I did rent a car or hire a car and then go back to the Shorebird Central, the Esplanade there, which you're looking at here. And I was pretty nervous about driving in Australia on the left side of the road and sitting on the right. I prepared quite a bit and it was pretty easy. I didn't love it, but it went okay. No big calamities. So anyway, let's go ahead and look at some shorebirds here at the Esplanade. Bar-tailed godwit again. These shorebirds are all on just sort of the basic shorebird family, sandpipers and allies. This sand plover, those are hard to identify. I was able to figure out with the help from my naturalist that this is a greater sand plover, which is actually a lifer for me. Pteric sandpiper with a slightly upturned bill is a cool one to see. Gray-tailed tattler, that's another shorebird that I enjoyed getting to observe. Sharp-tailed sandpipers, there were plenty of those. And a far eastern curlew. And an Australian ibis. This species has become prevalent in cities where they are sometimes called bin chickens because they forage in rubbish bins. And they are not such a popular species. But here, this one is in a more natural setting. I like it just fine. A bunch of silver gulls somebody had been feeding. This is pretty low tide. The shorebirds are mostly pretty far away. Here's some Australian pelicans. Back by the lagoon, I found Nankeen night herons again as we switch up the music here. My first stop driving north towards Port Douglas kind of has three names. Redden Island, like you see here, Macken's Beach, or the Barron River mouth. This is a dog beach, and the birds here were pretty skittish, but I did see more shorebirds, like all these redneck stints. This red-capped plover, which was a lifer. I do like lifer shorebirds. Their returns here, pretty far away. The little tern in the middle is called little tern, and those larger terns are great crested tern. Here it's a great crested tern on the right, and the other three are lesser crested tern. Those are both lifers. Here it's the lesser crested tern on the left, which is a bit smaller and has the orange bill, and the great crested tern on the right. Okay, back to shorebirds. At left are three curlew sandpipers, and the chubbier one to the right is a great knot. Here's a poor photo of my lifer pied oyster catchers flying away, and a very poor image of another lifer species for me, beach thickney or beach stone curlew, which is an uncommon and shy species that I was lucky to have fly by. This was a different red-capped plover. This one with a redder cap. Let me get close. I should have taken some video of it. Oh, great egret was here too at the Barron River mouth. And also I was excited to see this lifer, a black-necked stork. I had my DSLR with me, which is not good for taking video handheld, but here's some stork video anyway. I really enjoyed this stork. Another awesome bird species at Redden Island was a flock of maybe 25 red-tailed black cockatoos. They were making a scene and having territorial disputes. The adult males have the bright red tail panels and the pompadour hairstyles. These were great birds to see. I took a bunch of photos of these cockatoos. I went back to the car and got my smaller Panasonic camera that I prefer for videos, but by that time the cockatoos had settled down. The species mates for life and can live to be 50 years old. Here the female is on the left and the male is on the right. Okay, that was a great spot. Next up was the Cattana Wetlands, which is a great park with excellent paths and these magpie geese and a Pacific black duck, another common green shank, and a black-fronted dotterel. An exciting lifer for me at Cattana Wetlands was cone-crested jacana. That's how it's pronounced in Australia anyway. Jacanas are sometimes called lotus bird or lily trotter. The long toes allow them to forage on lily pads. By this time it was well into the afternoon, so I didn't see many songbirds, but I did find this lifer sahu brush cuckoo and another was this bar-shouldered dove. And hey, here's a dragonfly, the yellow-striped flutterer. Thank you, iNaturalist. Okay, so I started properly driving towards Port Douglas. I needed to get there before 6 p.m. to check into my lodgings, and I didn't want to drive in the dark anyway. This is the Mowbray River, where sometimes you can see crocodiles on the banks, which I didn't. But I did see this male Saho sunbird, which was a new family for me, the sunbird family. I also stopped at this Thala Beach Nature Reserve, where people often stop to photograph the rows of coconut trees without standing under a tree because you don't want the coconut falling on your head. I got a little confused on where to turn around and ended up on the road to the private reserve, and there was a tourist van stopped and looking at these agile wallabies. They're my first kangaroos of the trip, and they are awesome. And I got out quietly and took some videos. The wallabies didn't seem to mind me, but then somebody came jogging along or something, and they reacted to that and left. I should have kept filming. I got to see them bound away, though, which was really cool to see. You can hear parrots in this video, and some of them were double-eyed fig parrot, which is a nice, smaller lifer parrot that's pretty range restricted in Australia. Okay, so thanks to Google Maps navigation, I made it to my lodgings in Port Douglas, the Freestyle Resort. Here's some exciting images from my suite. And I had a little daylight left, walk around and look for some birds. I saw some blue-faced honey eaters, a pretty cool species, big honey eater with the cool blue face. It's a lifer. And there were sulfur-crested cockatoos flying around. That was a big day and an excellent day. That's the end of part 3. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time.